Okay. Speaking of grift in politics, this is something that I feel like I have a rare opportunity to explain at a moment of clarity, right? This is now the third time that tariffs from the United States to all of our biggest trading partners, not the least of which being China, have been implemented and then subsequently backpedaled on, even if it's not a full backpedaling, right? I mean, this time it was. The last couple times, I don't think it was, right? We had in February and March, and now it's April. So that's 3 times. And I feel like that's enough to show that there's a grift motivating this. The opponents aren't backing down. Yes, that's another thing. First, it's worth pointing out, obviously, that the administration is fucking dumb for thinking that this is how it works in the first place, right? When you put tariffs on another country and they put tariffs on you, saying just kidding, we're revoking our tariffs, doesn't revoke their tariffs. So they've already destroyed the United States economy by alienating all of our allies and trading partners. China has massive tariffs on us. The European Union and Canada and Mexico have tariffs on us. All the countries that we put tariffs on now have tariffs on us. And they are not backing down. You know? Donald Trump saying, just kidding, we're not doing the tariffs, or like we're pausing them for 90 days, only revokes our side of the tariffs. And then other countries are like, well, we still don't fucking trust you. You're like acting unstable and bipolar. So we're going to keep our tariffs on you. You know? That's part 1. Part 2 is they may or may not care about how dumb it is, because these tariffs are motivated by pure grift. The grift is this, right? Trump and all his, like a bunch of his oligarch buddies are currently in the government. They're running the government, right? What they do is they buy, or they have their stock portfolios and they sell. They sell right before announcing the tariffs. Then they announce the tariffs, so they've sold at a high point. Then they manipulate the market to create a new low point. They say like, all right, new round of tariffs, and they let the market shit itself for a little while, long enough for them to swoop in and buy the dip. You know, you know about the meme that buy the dip or whatever. It means like basically buy the market when it is reaching a low point, so that you can then sell it when it starts getting to a peak again. Most people aren't wealthy enough to do that, but Trump and the other oligarchs, you know, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, fucking who's that fucking Shark Tank guy, Kevin O'Leary, a bunch of like Fox business people and like anybody who's in the 100 millions or billions, like they have the money to do that. So they go and they buy the dip, anybody who's basically in on the joke. Then once they've all bought the dip, they're like, all right, we've got our portfolio. Now let's call off the tariffs. And they call off the tariffs, and the stock market is like, whew, you know, we can do stock market things again. The line can go up. And once the line goes up, their new assets start to appreciate. They basically use that to manipulate the market, muscle people out of the stock market by making it shit itself with the very real threat of tariffs. Then they buy the dip and wait for the market to recover, at least somewhat. Then they do the whole thing over again. And they just keep doing that over and over and over. And the objective is that, like, over time, they're just going to, like, consolidate more and more and more of what's left of the economy. The game here is relative profit. The economic crash is going to happen whether or not the tariffs stay in place. And I have no reason to believe, now that they've done this 3 times, said, all right, we're doing the tariffs for real, then they say, just kidding. I have no reason to believe that they're going to do anything different than that same exact thing in the future, right? They might do this every month for all I know. Tariffs, nah, just kidding. Tariffs, nah, just kidding. And each time they sell high, buy the dip that they created, and then watch the stock market bounce back and forth, mostly crashing and becoming extremely volatile, but their portfolios grow. It is legitimately like in the book 1984, where O'Brien, when he's doing that big exposition dump to Winston, is saying, like, we don't care if we make life worse for literally everybody. We're making life worse for ourselves as well in an absolute sense. But compared to the proletariat, compared to the working class, we benefit more. You know, the gap widens. That's their game here. They forget about other countries' tariffs. Well, that's what I said at the beginning with this. They don't care. That, like, the tariffs affect the economy at large, the real economy, the stuff that would have the power to generate mass suffering or mass flourishing even, right? They don't care about that part. Not necessarily anyways. You know, with or without the other country's tariffs, they can still do the, like, buy the dip and then sell high, announce tariffs, buy the dip. Just kidding, you know, watch the market rebound and stuff like that, right? They can still do that even with other countries having tariffs on America. What they're interested in basically is doing to America what the oligarchs did to Russia. Hollowing it out. Economically raping it to death. And, you know, initially myself and a lot of others thought that they were going to do the tariff. It really did seem like for a little while they were actually serious about putting tariffs in place and you know, killing the economy that way. But now it seems like they're just going to do the whole just kidding shtick, where they pretend to do tariffs, then they, you know, revoke them at the last minute, or even, you know, beyond the last minute, and just use that as a sort of market manipulation. So I don't think they've forgotten about the other countries having tariffs on us. I think they just don't care, because what tariffs affect like, tariffs affect the economy, but not in a way that prevents them from running this this scheme, right? From running this grift. Does that make sense? I would do the George Carlin, it's a big club and we're not in it, but it's not a very big club. Like I've said in other videos, it's probably like maximum of 1,000 people worldwide. You know, not that many people are wealthy enough to be in on the grift. They also have enough money to stay in the beginning of the Depression, so they can just wait until the opponent feels pain. Yeah, that's true. They have enough wealth that even if their portfolio depreciates or whatever, like even if they lose some money in an absolute sense, again, they can just weather the storm because they have money and like other people don't. Oh, dang it. I was going to go for the sand mob. Feels like they're undefeatable. That's what they want you to think, right? The reason they're doing this is because they have no fucking idea how to, like, do anything other than, like, rape a country to death, right? Like, I've explained how, like, billionaires get so isolated that all they have is the fact that they're a billionaire. Like, they literally don't have any other anything of value or connection to humanity or whatever. This is all they are. Thanks for watching, and support the channel if you would be so kind.